Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be talking about a really sensitive subject. Today marks the day last year, November 3rd, that I lost one of my best friends since 3rd grade. And the reason I want to talk about this is not only to remember him and to honor him, but to also share the story of what happened, because it could have easily been avoided if someone would have made a few different choices. And to see the effect that this has had on me and my family and my friends and their families and just our community as a whole, I don't ever want to have to see anyone else go through this, because it really is very, very hard. So this time last year, it was lunchtime, and my friend Chad, he was just going out with his girlfriend Megan to go to lunch, and he was at his car, which was parked on the street right next to the school, and he was just reaching in the back of his car to get something, or he was putting his backpack away or something like that, and some other kid from another school who was taking some kids out from our school to lunch decided he was gonna drive super stoned and he was gonna speed into school zone, and he didn't see Chad and he just hit him. I wasn't there, so I didn't see it happen, but I drove past a few minutes later when the cops showed up and the ambulances showed up, and I saw him. I just didn't know it was him. And the person who I was taking to lunch said, yeah, I heard some kid named Chad got hit by a car. They said that his legs were hurt really bad and they didn't know if he was going to be able to walk again. So in my mind, I was just hoping that it wasn't the Chad that was my best friend Chad, and I was hoping that whoever it was going to be okay, whether that was them being able to walk or not being able to walk. I just wanted them to be okay. But I didn't really think too much about it because, they didn't say that it was a fatal injury. They just said that their legs were hurt really bad, so I didn't think too much about it. But then later that night, my friend Taylor called me and she was asking if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, what do you mean am I okay? And she was like, Chad's dead, didn't you hear? And I just remember my heart sinking to my feet and collapsing to my knees in the middle of my living room, just and calling my mom and telling her that she had to come home because I was at home alone. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. I'd lost family members who were older, and it was natural, and it really hurt to lose them, and I missed them a lot. But it felt nothing like losing someone who you saw almost every single day, who you shared so many memories with. Hearing that kind of news, to hear that one of your really good friends is gone, was just horrible. And then I went on Facebook, and there were a bunch of people saying that he could still pull through. So we went to see him at the hospital the next day, and they took him off the life support to see if he could breathe, which is called an apnea test. And he took 3 big breaths on his own that night, and the next morning they did it again, and he didn't respond. So they officially announced him dead on November 4th, 2014. I've never seen so many people so torn up about someone. We got that news at around noon that day, and then that night, me and my friends planned a vigil at the skate park because Chad was a big skateboarder. I want to say like 150 people showed up. It was really cold and it was really dark, and we planned it literally 6 hours before it happened, and so many people showed up. And as sad as we all were, it was so amazing to see everyone come together and just support each other and love each other and help each other through such a traumatic experience. And at first I felt really bad for the kid who had done it because, I know that people make mistakes, I know that people smoke, I know that they speed, I understand that accidents happen and he made some bad choices. And in my mind, I was thinking that this kid not only has to deal with the fact that he made those bad choices, but he has to deal with the fact that he caused someone to lose their life. That's something that he has to live with for the rest of his life, and I felt really bad for him because I can't even imagine having that kind of burden on my shoulders. But then after the court trials that were both actually postponed, his court hearing isn't set until February of this upcoming year, so it's been an entire year and he's just been going around getting dirty UAs, doing whatever he wants because they just keep postponing it for some reason. But he also didn't seem to care. At any of the court trials, he just didn't have any remorse. He didn't feel bad for what he'd done. It's one thing to have an accident and to do something unintentionally and hurt someone, but it really hurt by the fact that he didn't care about the family that had lost a son or the friend that had lost a really good friend. It just really hurt because the kid who did it didn't even care. And he's still out there and he's still doing whatever he wants to do because his court hearing just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back for whatever reason. I don't even know why they keep doing it. They just won't sentence him to anything. And it's just so shitty because even a year later, all of my friends are still so hurt. And Chad's family is still so distraught, and all of this could have been avoided if this kid just didn't speed, and he didn't smoke pot, and he didn't have 6 other people in his car when he'd only had his license for 6 days. 6 days! This kid got his license 6 days prior to this accident. When you get in a car, not only are you responsible for you in the car, but you're responsible for anyone in that car and anyone around you. You're responsible for anything that could happen, and people just don't get that. They just get in and they treat it like a toy, and they don't treat it with respect how it should be used. It's a vehicle to get you from point A to point B, and you're supposed to use it safely to keep everyone around you safe. And some people just don't care, or they don't care until someone gets hurt. And I don't know, I really don't want to have to see anyone else go through this because Chad really was such a great kid, and he had so much life in him, and he had such a bright future ahead of him. And he was one of those kids where every time you see him, he just puts a smile on your face, and he's just so fun to be around. And it's so hard knowing that he was supposed to graduate this year and go do all of these incredible things that he had planned, and he just can't. And the kid who was responsible for it doesn't even care. Today is always going to be a sad day for me, but I try and remember that I'm very grateful to have had him in my life for as long as I did. And I'm really grateful for having such good friends to help each other through this. I just really want to encourage you guys to be safe and to be mindful of the things around you, especially when you're driving. I'm sorry that today's video had to be so sad. I just really miss my friend, and I don't want any of you to have to go through what me and my friends went through. Because it really sucks losing someone so close to you when you didn't have to. It was just so unnecessary, and it didn't have to happen, and it could have been avoided. So please, everyone, make good decisions and be careful and pay attention to what you're doing, especially when you're in a car. Just be mindful of the people around you and pay attention to what you're doing, because all it takes is a split second for everything to go wrong and for you to lose someone that means a lot to you. And make sure you tell your friends and your family and anyone who means anything to you how much they mean to you, and let them know that you love them all the time, because you don't know when you're not going to be able to say it again. And trust me, you're really going to want to when they're not there. And you're not going to be able to. So tell them now. Let them know that you love them now. And just please, please be safe. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a good day. I'll see you next time. Bye.